Many people hold a common fear. They worry that their hard-earned muscle will transform. They believe it turns directly into fat if they stop working out. This idea is incredibly widespread in fitness circles. You might have heard it from a friend. Perhaps a well-meaning gym-goer shared it. It sounds plausible to some. After all, changes in body composition are visible. When exercise stops, bodies can look and feel different. This leads to the mistaken conclusion. This belief, however, is a complete myth. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of basic biology. Muscle tissue and fat tissue are distinct. They are as different as wood and water. One cannot magically transmute into the other. Imagine trying to turn lead into gold. Alchemists tried for centuries without success. The muscle-to-fat idea is a similar kind of biological alchemy. It simply does not happen. Your body doesn't work that way. Understanding the truth is crucial for your fitness journey. This myth can be incredibly demotivating. It can discourage people from starting exercise. It can also make them afraid to take necessary breaks. Rest and recovery are vital parts of any good training program. Fear should not dictate your health choices. Knowing the facts empowers you. It allows you to make informed decisions about your body. In this essay, we will dismantle this persistent myth. We will explore the science behind muscle and fat. We will see what truly happens when you pause your workouts. You will learn why this illusion occurs. More importantly, you will get practical advice. This advice will help you manage your physique during breaks. Let's replace fiction with facts. Let's give you the power of knowledge. The myth of muscle turning into fat persists for several reasons. Firstly, visual changes are often misleading. When someone stops exercising, their muscles may decrease in size. This is a process called atrophy. At the same time, if their calorie intake remains high, they might gain fat. This fat can accumulate around the areas where muscles were once prominent. The result is a softer, less defined appearance. It's easy to misinterpret this change. Secondly, the sensation can be deceptive. Former athletes often report feeling softer. Their once firm muscles now feel less dense. This change in texture contributes to the belief. They touch their arm or leg. It doesn't feel as hard as it used to. They might also notice an increase in overall body fat. The combination of smaller muscles and more fat creates a convincing illusion. It feels like a direct transformation has occurred. Another factor is anecdotal evidence, often misinterpreted. People share stories. I stopped lifting and all my muscle turned to flab. These personal accounts spread like wildfire. They lack scientific understanding, but they are relatable and easy to believe. Without knowing the underlying physiology, the myth seems logical. It becomes a widely accepted truth. This happens even among those who are generally health conscious. Finally, the fitness industry itself sometimes perpetuates myths. Marketing for certain products or programs might prey on this fear. They might promise to prevent this transformation. Clear, science-backed information is not always prioritized. It's easier to sell a quick fix if people are scared. Our goal here is to cut through that noise. We aim to provide clarity. Understanding the distinct nature of these tissues is the first step. Muscle tissue is a highly specialized biological structure. It is primarily composed of protein filaments. These filaments are called actin and myosin. They slide past each other to create contractions. This is what allows you to move, lift weights, and perform daily activities. Muscle cells, or muscle fibers, are long and cylindrical. They are packed with these contractile proteins. They also contain mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cell. These produce energy for muscle work. Building muscle is an adaptive process. When you challenge your muscles through resistance training, you create tiny tears. These are micro tears in the muscle fibers. The body then repairs these tears. It makes the fibers stronger and thicker than before. This process is called hypertrophy. It requires adequate protein intake. It also needs sufficient rest for recovery and growth. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. It burns calories even when you're at rest. Muscle tissue cannot simply decide to become fat. It does not possess the biological machinery to do so. Think of muscle cells as tiny engines. Their job is to create force and movement. They are built from specific protein components. They have a defined structure and function. To turn into fat, a muscle cell would have to completely change its identity. It would need to dismantle its protein structures. Then, it would have to reconfigure itself to store lipids. This is not how cells operate. So, When we talk about gaining muscle, we mean increasing the size and number of these protein filaments within muscle cells, or in some cases the creation of new muscle fibers, though this is more debated. This tissue is dense and contributes to a firm physique. It plays a vital role in strength, metabolism, and overall health. It is a distinct entity. It has its own set of rules for growth and decline. It is not interchangeable with fat. Fat tissue, also known as adipose tissue, is very different from muscle. Its primary role is energy storage. Fat cells, or adipocytes, are designed to store large amounts of lipids, or fats. When you consume more calories than your body needs, the excess energy is converted. It is converted into triglycerides. These triglycerides are then stored within these fat cells. This causes the fat cells to expand in size. Your body stores this energy for future use. Unlike muscle cells, fat cells are not primarily contractile. They are not built for movement. Their structure is simpler, often described as a droplet of fat. This droplet is surrounded by a thin cellular membrane. Adipose tissue also plays other roles. It helps to insulate the body. It provides cushioning for organs. It produces certain hormones that regulate appetite and metabolism, such as leptin and adiponectin. Fat is essential for survival, but in moderation. Fat tissue cannot transform into muscle tissue. Just as muscle cannot become fat, the reverse is also impossible. A fat cell is specialized for storing fat. It lacks the genetic programming and cellular machinery to become a muscle cell. It cannot suddenly start producing contractile proteins like actin and myosin. To build muscle, you need to stimulate muscle cells to grow. You cannot convert existing fat cells into new muscle fibers. That's a biological impossibility. Therefore, when you lose fat, you are not transforming it. You are causing the adipocytes to release their stored triglycerides. These fats are then broken down. They are used for energy by the body. The fat cells shrink in size. The number of fat cells generally remains stable in adulthood, though they can increase in cases of significant prolonged obesity. Understanding this difference is key. Muscle and fat are separate systems with separate functions. Section 5. The shrinking story. What really happens to muscle without exercise? When you stop resistance training, your muscles no longer receive the same stimulus. The body is efficient. It doesn't like to maintain tissues that aren't being actively used. Maintaining muscle mass is energetically expensive. If the demand for strength and power decreases, the body adapts. It begins to reduce the size of the muscle fibers. This process is called muscle atrophy. It's the opposite of hypertrophy. Muscle atrophy doesn't mean the muscle cell vanishes instantly. Instead, the muscle fibers shrink. The amount of contractile proteins within them decreases. The cross-sectional area of the muscle gets smaller. This leads to a loss of muscle strength and size. The rate of atrophy can vary. It depends on several factors. These include how long you stop training for. Your age and genetics also play a role. Your nutritional status is important too. It's crucial to understand that atrophy is not muscle turning into fat. The muscle cells are still muscle cells. They are just smaller and less capable than before. They haven't undergone a bizarre cellular transformation. They haven't changed their fundamental nature. They are simply adapting to a lower level of demand. Think of it like a factory reducing its production. It doesn't turn the factory into a warehouse, it just scales down its operations. This process can be reversed. If you resume training, your muscles can grow again. This is often faster due to muscle memory, which we'll discuss later. The key takeaway here is that muscle loss is a reduction in muscle tissue volume. It is not a conversion of that tissue into something else entirely. The muscle cells are still there. They are just waiting for the signal to build back up. This understanding is vital for a healthy mindset. Section 6. The creeping expansion: how fat cells multiply when activity ceases. While muscle tissue might be shrinking due to lack of use, something else can happen concurrently. If you stop exercising but continue to eat the same amount of food, you create a calorie surplus. Exercise burns a significant number of calories. When this expenditure is removed, your daily energy balance shifts. Suddenly, you are consuming more energy than your body is using. This excess energy needs to go somewhere. The body's primary way of storing excess energy is as fat. The extra calories are converted into triglycerides. These are then stored in your existing fat cells. This causes your fat cells to swell. You begin to accumulate more body fat. This fat can be stored subcutaneously under the skin. It can also be stored viscerally around your organs. This is the process of fat accumulation. It is entirely separate from what is happening to your muscle tissue. This fat gain can happen relatively quickly. It depends on the size of the calorie surplus. If you were very active and eating a lot, stopping exercise can lead to a rapid surplus. The body is very good at storing fat. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism, so while your muscles might be slowly atrophying, your fat stores might be expanding. This combination leads to a change in body composition. You become less muscular and carry more fat. It's important to note that this is not muscle becoming fat, it is muscle decreasing and fat increasing. These are two independent processes occurring simultaneously. They are driven by different stimuli. Muscle atrophy is driven by lack of mechanical tension. Fat accumulation is driven by a positive energy balance. Understanding this distinction is crucial. It helps you tackle each issue appropriately if you need to. Section 7. The grand illusion. Why it muscle transforms into fat. The visual and tactile changes create a powerful illusion. Imagine an area of your body, like your bicep. When you were training, it was large and firm. This was due to well-developed muscle tissue. Now you've stopped training for a few months. The muscle has atrophied, it has become smaller. Simultaneously, if your diet wasn't adjusted, you may have gained some fat. Some of this fat might deposit in your arm, around and on top of the smaller muscle. What do you see and feel? The area might appear similar in overall size or even larger. However, it feels much softer. The underlying firm muscle mass has reduced. It has been replaced or covered by a softer layer of adipose tissue. This change in composition gives the distinct impression that the hard muscle has melted into soft fat. It's a very convincing sensory experience. It is easy to see why the myth is so pervasive. Think of it like a sculpture. A strong, defined sculpture made of stone muscle. If parts of the stone are chipped away, atrophy, and then the whole thing is covered with a soft, pliable material like clay, fat, the original shape might be obscured. It might feel completely different to the touch. You haven't turned stone into clay. You've simply lost some stone and added some clay. This is analogous to what happens in the body. This illusion is why understanding the separate processes is so important. Muscle atrophy and fat accumulation are two distinct physiological events. They often occur together when activity levels drop and diet isn't adjusted, but one does not cause the other in a direct, transformative way. Recognizing this helps to demystify the changes. It allows for a more rational approach to managing your body composition. You're not a victim of biological alchemy. Section 8. Staying in control, smart strategies for exercise downtime. Taking a break from your usual workout routine doesn't mean disaster. You don't have to watch your physique unravel. There are smart strategies to maintain muscle and control fat gain. First, consider adjusting your calorie intake. If you're burning fewer calories through exercise, you likely need to eat less to avoid a surplus. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Prioritize protein as it helps preserve muscle mass. This is your first line of defense against unwanted fat. Even if you can't hit the gym, try to stay active. This could mean more walking, light bodyweight exercises, or recreational sports. Any activity is better than none. This helps to keep your metabolism up. It also provides some stimulus to your muscles, slowing down atrophy. Even short bursts of activity can make a difference. Maintaining some level of physical stress on the muscles is key. Think maintenance, not necessarily growth, during these periods. Don't underestimate the power of muscle memory. If you've built a significant amount of muscle in the past, regaining it is often faster than building it the first time. Your muscle cells retain nuclei that were developed during previous training. These are called myonuclei. When you resume training, these myonuclei help to accelerate muscle protein synthesis. So a break doesn't reset your progress to zero. You can bounce back quicker than you think. Finally, manage your mindset. Don't fall for the myth that all is lost. A temporary break can even be beneficial. It can allow your body to recover fully. It can also help you mentally recharge. Focus on what you can control during this time. Control your nutrition, control your general activity levels, and trust that your previous hard work hasn't vanished. It has laid a foundation you can build upon again. Section 9. Conclusion. Armed with truth, your body, your rules, no more myths. The notion that muscle magically transforms into fat is a persistent falsehood. It's a myth that can undermine confidence and derail fitness goals. We have seen that muscle and fat are fundamentally different tissues. They have unique structures and functions. They cannot convert into one another. An apple remains an apple. An orange remains an orange. Your body operates on clear biological principles, not on magical transformations. This is a powerful truth. When you stop exercising, two separate processes can occur. Muscle tissue may undergo atrophy, meaning it shrinks due to lack of stimulus. Simultaneously, if calorie intake exceeds expenditure, fat accumulation can happen. Adipose tissue may expand. The combination of these two events creates the illusion of muscle turning into fat, but it's just that, an illusion. Understanding this distinction is the first step towards taking control. You are not fighting a losing battle against mythical transformations. You are now armed with the facts. You know that taking a break doesn't mean your muscle will betray you. You understand muscle memory and how it can help you regain fitness. You have practical strategies to manage your body composition during periods of reduced activity. Adjust your nutrition. Stay as active as possible, and most importantly, reject the demotivating myth that has held too many people back for too long. Knowledge truly is power. Embrace this understanding. Let it empower you to make informed choices about your training, your diet, and your rest. Your body is an amazing, adaptable machine. It responds to the stimuli you provide. It doesn't operate on deceitful conversions. Trust in the science. Trust in your ability to manage your health and fitness. With this knowledge, you can navigate your fitness journey with confidence and clarity. No more myths, just results based on sound principles. If you like this, don't be a stranger. Share it with your friends. Like this if it blew your mind, and subscribe for more myth-busting fitness science.